Hello everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to generational farming. I'm in the process of selling some of my silage. We've still got silos running here in February, and I don't think they're going to get done in February. This is, again, server time's drifted quite a bit, so it's quite late today. I'm getting really close to midnight. A few minutes away, but obviously we're only showing at 2 p.m. on the game time, so we're 10 hours behind or so. Not quite, 9-10 hours. So definitely a bit much there. So I'm trying to get things full. The small silos here are the only ones that have something left. Just wanted to pop in and show you kind of as we're wrapping things up. I still have not fertilized the fields for coming up for the spring, or it still ends up being a spring harvest usually. It's May, but I've kind of backed off on some things. So been busy in real life, and therefore haven't had time to do much of anything, and wanted to take advantage of the fact that this is the last winter that we'll be here on the server. So keep in mind we're here in winter 3, basically, is what that would translate to, because March is going to be the first day of spring. And we will be leaving next winter 1, so we're less than a year away. We're 10 days away, so that is March 10th that we'll be moving, for those of you who need to keep track of it. Taking this over to the livestock dealer, so I'll see you over there in a moment. Alright, so here at the market, just getting ready to dump this out. So unlike the crazy 220 area realm that I was getting per 1,000 liters, we're down to 190 here. So definitely workable and more reasonable per what we've seen. The 220 really didn't last. It certainly just lasted that one day. But I'm certainly liking what I've gotten here. Obviously, we're doing pretty well as far as the dollars that we've been able to make. Still got quite a bit left. I think I've got a couple 100,000 that is going to be able to be sold later. That's going to not make nearly as much as it would have if I had gotten it done earlier, but it also indicates the issue that I've mentioned about, do I even really want to go through the effort of doing the harvest in November for the little bit of grass that I may be able to get? Because I would venture to say that the fact that I'm running here as late as I am, that things weren't able to keep up as well. Now, once again, if I was selling more mid-year than I was this year, because I was like, well, why sell early if I can hold on to it and I'm going to have all winter, and I can try to stay around that 190 mark that it maxes out at, rather than selling at 160 or something. But then we got that crazy day of 219, 220. I think at one point it actually got up to 221. It got really lucrative. And so that's when most of this year's crop was sold. But I had to wait for the silos to obviously continue to finish fermenting the rest. So there's always that challenge that's going on. It's just a little bit easier to chat here at the tail ends of the runs, because I'm focused less on steering and driving around and so forth, so that I can actually communicate more clearly and with less distraction, which leads to less pausing and less disjointed conversation, which I'm already getting into. So I'll see you on the other end. Alright, here we are at the livestock dealer, and it just gets to be challenging, I was getting to worry about how I was going to turn out of those trees, and it suddenly started to distract me, and that led to the halts in the conversation and so forth, so figured I'd cut it off then. And obviously I've not had much time to talk now, and we're done. So, see you in a bit. It usually isn't too bad once I get to this point. I can kind of see the silos, I just need to get onto my property and then cross the field, so that I'm not just saying a few words and then speaking again at the next end. I'll get talking a little bit earlier. So yeah, the other thing I've been looking at a little bit, I've been exploring the possibility. There's one other sim that has popped up that has caught my attention. Again, it's a little bit older, something I've not come across before, but in a genre that I've been looking for things for. So, found something, and I'll explain more when and if it finally happens. But I've got it on my watch list, and I'm hoping in the next month or so it'll come up on some sort of a Steam sale. And at that point, if it does, that's pretty much probably when I'm going to pounce on it at that point, and certainly introduce it, and it'll appear on the channel. How long it lasts, or does it stick around, is going to be dependent on viewership and interest of once I really get into it. But from what I've seen and watching a few other folks' YouTube videos that have covered it before and used it before, it's definitely something I think I'm going to enjoy quite a lot. So I'll leave that little bit of a teaser there buried here in the Farming Simulator video. So those of you that are loyal viewers to the channel, you get that little bit of extra information. It's, why you don't want to miss anything that's on the channel, because I talk about various things at various times, because they're obviously always on my mind. So I'll see you at the next point, and we'll continue our conversation. But yeah, I'm just trying to see where I get pulled into things. There's nothing that's really taken off on the channel outside of Farming Simulator. I think, there's nothing that people have dove into and said, wow, I just wish you'd really focus on this. So I'm kind of doing and sharing what I come across and what I decide to spend some time on as it comes up. I think I'm probably getting down to probably 2 trips more, maybe 3 at the most. I'm really down to this last silo that needs to be emptied. So I'm going to keep working on that, obviously. And then that will be the end of what I have to share here. But yeah, as folks get interested, as the community grows a bit, it's creeping along like anything. No idea if this is normal. I'm sure it's normal for most channels to just inch along like a snail and get a few new subscribers a week and eventually get there. I think it's pretty unique and rare and pretty lucky, just like anything else, just like celebrities get famous or whatever. I think it's lightning in a bottle. It just kind of happens to some channels, and who knows why. They take off, they get a lot of people interested, and then they show up in more searches and so forth. I haven't reached that tipping point. I don't know that I ever will. Who knows? We'll see. So therefore, I guess, all I know is what I've said over and over. I'll just keep sharing what I'm doing, and hopefully it'll resonate with people, and there will be some interest. But certainly, I'm open to feedback wherever, whatever comment people want to drop, or if they want to pop into the Discord and give me some ideas of, hey, if you focused on this, I'd watch, and there's 50 of my friends who'd watch too. Let me know. And in my long hours of sitting around and farming here, I've certainly tried to think about, why am I not taking off? And it could just be because I'm spread too thin, I'm doing too many different things, I don't know, but I thought simming itself would be a pretty small niche. But yeah, back to kind of the wrap up here. I'm definitely struggling as to what exactly is going to be my end point next year. What I don't want to do is spend a bunch of time doing work that then won't ultimately bear any fruit because we're going to be removed from the server before I get to take advantage of it. But I'd also hate leaving 2 or 3 days of something that I could have done. So more than likely, I'm going to end up leaning toward the first point, where I'm thinking ambitiously that I'm going to get a certain level of things done, only to find out that, in fact, I'm still waiting for the silos to clear out or something when they're ready to move us. I don't know. Alright, so we are full there. So this is the last load, 28,963. So we're not quite going to hit 1.8 million at this point, but I think we're easily going to hit that by the time I'm done with everything being processed for this year. So that gets you up to speed of what is going on here in generational farming, and we are getting close enough that I can smell it of moving to the second generation in our next map. Now keep in mind, we have been told again, because they're going to try to stagger these servers, that there's going to be a bit of a delay. Don't know how long it's going to be. We've not had anything new on the calendar time, but I will let you know when I know, and I'll see you next time.